Good morning, everyone. We are the Group 3, and for this morning, we will just answer 6 questions related to the globalization and globalism. I hope you learned something and enjoy watching. Thank you.
I am John Paul Mijares and I'm here to discuss about the effects of globalization on government. So let's start. So first, let us tackle about what is globalization. So globalization is the process by which business or the other organizations develop international influence or start operating on an international scale. So simply says that business developed by the other country's influence. So the next one is globalization means that speed up of movements and exchanges of human beings, goods and services, capital, technologies, or cultural practices all over the planet. One of the effects of globalization is that it promotes and increases interactions between different regions and populations around the globe. So means that it is also um, involved by the other countries or influenced by the other countries. So next, let us talk about the effects of globalization on our um, country, so on the Philippine government. So evidences suggest that the globalization has a positive effect on the country's economic growth and employment. In particular, trade of trade of trade of openness and foreign portfolio flows have a contributed to higher per capita GDP growth in the Philippines following the implementation of FX liberalizations reforms. So now let us tackle about the effects of globalization on the government in entire planet. So the biggest effect is a reduction of economic independence and the increasing market size with the effects of absolute or comparative advantages in manufacturing creates the need to specialize in narrow product or production of services areas to be able to compete successfully. The second one is the main problem with the restricting markets access using such tool is retaliation from other countries in implementing similar policies against that country. The popular press refers to this as a trade war. So, according to the disciplining hypothesis, globalization retrains governments by inducing increased budgetary pressure. As a consequence, governments shift their expenditures in favor of transfers and subsidies and away from capital expenditures. So, as you can see, it is also the same as the Philippine government on how it affect or simply says it is also or simply says the effect of globalization in the entire planet is in positive way. So that's also and good day.
Today, I'm going to render my report about the institutions that governs international relations. So, international relations is a distinct field of study begun in Britain. International relations emerged as a formal academic discipline in 1919. With the founding of the first international relations professorship, the Woodrow Wilson Chair of Aberystwyth University, held by Alfred Eckhard Zimmern and endowed by David Davis. So, what are these organizations? So, first is the United Nations. The United Nations is an intergovernmental organization that aims to maintain international peace and security, develop friendly relations among nations, achieve international cooperation, and be a center for harmonizing the actions of nations. So, this organization was founded on October 24, 1945 in San Francisco, California, in the USA. So this organization has five permanent members. These countries are China, France, Russian Federation, United Kingdom, and United States. So even if this organization is a very huge organization, there are still states that are still not a member of this organization, which is the Kosovo, Western Sahara, Taiwan, South Ossetia, Abkhazia, and Northern Cyprus. So there's a lot of reason why they are still not a member. Kosovo, the reason of Kosovo is that even if it is declared as an independent country from Serbia, it's still not gained complete international recognition that allows it to become a member of the United Nations. Then the Taiwan right now is politically unstable. So that's the reason why Taiwan right now is not a member of the United Nations. So next is the Organization of Islamic Cooperation. So the Organization of Islamic Cooperation is an international organization. The organization states that it is the collective voice of the Muslim world and works to safeguard and protect the interests of the Muslim world in the spirit of promoting international peace and harmony. Uh, this organization was founded in 1969. It consists of 57 member states that has 1.8 billion population as of 2015. Uh, there are 49 countries and majority of them are Muslim countries. Next is the ASEAN. So, Association of Southeast Asian Nations is a regional intergovernmental organization comprising 10 countries in Southeast Asia, which promotes intergovernmental cooperation and facilitates economic, political, security, military, educational, and social-cultural integration among its members and other countries in Asia. These 10 ASEAN members are Indonesia, Thailand, Singapore, Myanmar, Philippines, Malaysia, Vietnam, Cambodia, Brunei, and Laos. So, what is the main reason why there's an institution? So, international relations is very important because it dictates what will happen in the future. Not all of the people will live from the past, so they study and work hard for a better future because we don't want war for the future. And all of that can be achieved with a good international relations. So I think that's all. Thank you.
Hello sir, I'm Engine Kenneth Baluesa. I'm the one who report the differences between globalism and internationalism. So first, let's define what is internationalism and globalism. So internationalism is a movement which advocates the greater economic and political cooperation among nations for theoretical benefit of all. Internationalism teaches that the people of nation have more in common than they do differences, and those that nations should treat each other as equals. So the internationalism, which is the one to produce goods and or deliver services that have the capability of entering into the international markets and have the standards that are globally accepted. And the globalism is the development of social culture, technology, and economic network that transcend national boundaries. Globalization is a political ideology that puts interest of the world above those individual nations. So, the globalism, which is connected to economies of the world for free trade and economic policies to integrate the world into the global village. So, so this is the differences of internationalism and globalism. So, internationalism is a political, economic, and cultural cooperation between nations, while the globalism is ideology based on belief that people, goods, and information thought to be able to cross nation unfettered. So the Internationalism is the one is the who exporting goods and services or trading goods and services to other nations, and also political or economic and cultural cooperation between nations. So the globally also while the globalism is a process to make the internationalism that all people connected to transactions to other nations. That all, sir. Thank you.
Good day everyone, I'm Kaditis Koning and I'm here to report about the question number 4, identify the rules and function of United Nations. So first, what is United Nations? So United Nations is an international organization founded in 1945 after the World War II by 51 countries committed to maintaining international peace and security, developing friendly relation among nations and promoting the social progress, better living standards and human rights. So United Nations is an organization between countries established on 24th of October 1945 to promote international cooperation and to prevent another conflict of countries. The purpose of the formation of United Nations is to prevent the global scale war happening again like World War II and World War I. And promote international peace among the globe to show that they'll send in peacekeeping forces in disputed regions and civil wars. So, next is what is the rules of United Nations? The United Nations does this by working to prevent conflict, helping parties in conflict make peacekeeping, and creating the condition to allow peace to hold and flourish. These activities often overlap and should reinforce one another to be effective. So, United Nations has made massive, massive, massive positive contribution in maintaining international peace and security. Promoting cooperation among states and international development, people of the world still face the two issues of peace and development. Only by international cooperation can mankind meet the challenges of the global and regional issues. So, by the use of United Nations, it will help all country be united and keep the peace and order of all countries around the globe. So, next is what is the function of United Nations? So, the main function of United Nations is preserve international peace and security. Of the charter provides the specific settlement of disputes through intervention of Security Council by means such as negotiation, mediation, arbitration, and judicial decisions. So, what are the functions? There are 6 functions in my research. There are 6 functions. So, first is to maintain the international peace and security of accordance with the principle of purpose of United Nations. Second is to investigate any dispute of situation which might lead to international conflict or frictions. Third is to recommend methods and adjusting such as disputes of the terms that of settlement. Fourth is to formulate plans for establish of system to regulate armaments. Fifth is to determine the existence of threat to peace of act of aggression and to recommend what action should be taken. So, last is initiates the studies and make recommendation to promote international political cooperations, the development and codifications of international law, the realization of human rights and fundamentals, freedom of international collaborations, of the economic, social, and humanitarian culture of education and health fields. So, overall, the main functions, main goals of United Nations is maintaining the international peace and security, develop the friendly and relations among nations, and third, achievement achieve international cooperation in solving international problems and be a center for harmonizing the action of nations of attainment of these common ends. That's all. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I am Jose Eduardo J. Imperial IV, and for this morning, we will just identify the challenges of global governance in the 21st century. So let's start. And according to here, at the beginning of the 21st century, threats such as ethnic conflict, infectious diseases, and terrorism, as well as the new generation of global challenges, including climate change, energy security, food and water scarcity, international migration flow, and new technologies are some of the challenges that global governance facing right now. So let's just identify at least six examples of the latest global governance challenges that facing in the 21st century. Okay, so as you see here, the given example for the different challenges of global governance is the coronavirus and other diseases, ISIS terrorists, genocide of Rohingya tribe, sovereignty crisis, pollution/climate change, and malnutrition. So let's just discuss first the coronavirus and other diseases. We all know that one of the major factors why the coronavirus is easily spread all over the world because of the globalization and migration of people, which is moving from one country to another country, and by means of that, the disseminating or the spread of the coronavirus is easily being spread all over the world. And that's why the World Health Organization in the US and the United Nation is concerned about this one. So this is one of the major challenges of the global governance facing right now. Second is the ISIS terrorists. Going back to 2010, it was started the ISIS terrorists, and still right now, it's a big threat for the social safety and to the world security because the ISIS terrorist is very rude, very aggressive in conquering different city to express their stand in the society. But it's still a very big threat. That's why the it's considered as a global challenges for the governance. And second is the genocide of Rohingya tribe. This is back in 2016 in Myanmar, which is 36,000 people were being killed by the military of Myanmar, um, and 16,000 people is been beaten and treat not right. This is included in the human right, which called the attention again of the United Nations and the human rights in the United Nations. So that's one of the global challenges again facing right now by the different global governance agency. So fourth is the sovereignty crisis. We are already experiencing it right now, especially the Chinese aggressiveness in the South China Sea or the West Philippine Sea, considered by the Philippines since we are still claiming it. And yes, it's a very big threat still for the world war. It can be result to the world war or massive war because there's a lot of countries disagreed to the excessive and extreme movement of the Chinese government in conquering different sovereignty of body of water. So it's still a big threat and a challenge for the global governance, especially the UN and different again agency of the global governance. So the fifth one is the pollution and climate change. It's still a very old issue, but still it's a very huge problem again of the world or the different global governance agency since pollution and climate change is continuous happening in the world right now because of the water pollution, air pollution, causing changing or fast changing of climate in the world. So the last one is malnutrition. It's very prone to everyone. The third world country and the fourth world country is experiencing malnutrition, and it can cause death or lost lives of young people because of malnutrition. And the World Health Organization is very concerned about this one because it must not be happening, but it's still a very great challenge for the different agency of the global governance about this malnutrition. For example, in Africa, it's there's a huge malnutrition happening there, and it almost eradicate people because of different diseases due to malnutrition, lack of immune system resistant because of the malnutrition. So that's all for the example of the different challenges of global governance experiencing right now. I hope you learned something, and I hope we see each other again. Goodbye for now, and thank you so much, and see you soon.
Hi, good morning. I am Engine Cadet John Philip Asenas and also a member of Group 1. I am here to explain the relevance of the state amid globalization. What is the role of state in globalization? The main role of the state or nation state in globalization is a complex one in part due to varying definition and shifting concepts of globalization. While it has been defined in many ways, globalization is generally recognized as the fading of complete disappearance of economic, social, and cultural borders between nation and states. The relevance of globalization. Globalization is about the interconnectedness of people and businesses across the world that eventually leads to global culture, political, and economic integration. It is the ability to move and communicate easily with others all over the world in order to conduct the business internationally. The globalization is kanang it has a big role here in life manggod ang kaning globalization kay we all know nga we all know that we need work, we need money, we need we need to strive hard every day nga sa pagkakaroon nga panahon need jud kay nato nga mo work on kay unsaon na to pagkuha nga tong basic needs or a day needs na to kung dili ta mo work on. Kung ikaw mo work ta, maka-earn ta og money og makabayad ta sa ato mga needs every day, which is food, goods, or any type of survival nga ato magamit a day. Nya ang kaning globalization kanang nasa ni siya mga kanang mabuhat nato not just nato but also sa ato ang country or sa ato ang state nga maka get ta o mga partners within other country nga makig-partner taglain. Yes. So next is the relevance of the state amid the globalization. Kung naay man gani positive effect, naa sa tay negative effect. So mag-una ta sa positive effect sa ato ang relevant state amid to globalization. First is globalization burdens access to goods and service. Yes, sa akong gisulti ganina nga need gyud ta og mga goods a day kay mao ginay ato ang primary source in life and service nga makatrabaho ta sa laing nasod nya makakuan ta maka-survive ta sa ato ang kuan sa tong life. Next is the globalization can lift people out of poverty. Yes, sakto kaayo. Maka-lift gid siya or makahawas ta sa atong kalisod like kita as a seafarer. Di ba kanang dako man jud ta o kanang maingon ta dako tag sweldo pero maski dako tag sweldo lisod jud siya pero sa pagpangan lang maka-lift out gid ta sa poverty. Yes, gamit kay ang globalization. Next is the globalization increase cultural awareness. Yes, kanang For example, sa ato kaning culture awareness, like kita makakita ta og mga foreigners diri sa Cebu, like daghan man jud kayo kay daghan mo visit og foreigners diri mga Americans na makakita ta nila nga kuyawa na nila kuya kay panuloban mo nang ma-aware ta. Pero naagi mga people nga dili gid ma-aware sila mao na ilang culture nga like normal ra kana nila. Pero kita aware ta na kung unsa sila. Yeah. Next is the negative effect. Mao ra gini ang negative effect nga ako ang murag relevant kaayo aning globalization. Globalization is the main responsible for serious environmental problems such as greenhouse gas emission, global warming, or air pollution. Di ba sakto kayo nga nakakwarta ta put up tag businesses diri sa ato ang state nga tukod og mga buildings nga mabot sa punto nga wala na tayo mga mabot sa punto nga to ang mga mountains nga murag matukuran na og buildings, cutting trees, mao na basic kaayo nga kanang basic kaayo negative effects sa globalization, like example sa ato ang very well known nga Philippine eagle, which is the monkey eating eagle nga sa una narara na diri karon kay rare na kayo na to makita nga murag pride kay sa Philippines nga naataan na nya mao nang mawala na lang kay tungod sa ato ang globalization. And that's all. Thank you and have a nice day. God bless and keep safe, everyone.
Thank you so much again for watching. I hope you learned something, and that's all for the report of Group 3. Goodbye for now. See you!